Hey there, I'm going to walk you through how to set up Onehouse LakeView to monitor and get insights on your Apache Hudi tables. Today we're going to show you option 3, which is the LakeView SyncTool, which makes it super easy to get started if you're already running Apache Hudi workloads. So the LakeView SyncTool is great because it can embed into your existing Apache Hudi data pipelines. Whether you're using the Hudi Streamer or running ad hoc jobs, you can just embed this through a few extra configurations in a jar file, which makes it super easy to get started. And I'll show you how right now. So let's open the docs for LakeView, and we'll click on option 3, deploy with the LakeView SyncTool. There's just a few steps here. So first you'll download the LakeView SyncTool JAR as well as the LakeView JAR from the docs. We'll run the jar with an existing workload that we already have, and I'll show you what that looks like. And then there's a few classes that you need to set up. So we have a few options. One is just the plain LakeView SyncTool class, and this is great if you don't have any sync tools already going, because Hudi offers a glue sync tool and a hive sync tool, as well as others like DataHub SyncTool for syncing metadata to your meta stores. If you're not using one of those, you can just use the base one here. But if you are, you can actually use one of these, which will give you the LakeView Sync Tool as well as the Glue Sync Tool or Hive Sync Tool pre-packaged in that class. Next, below in the docs, you'll see the configurations that you need to apply to get the Sync Tool started, as well as an example. And I'll show you how all this works right now. All right, so the first step is to download the Sync Tool jar as well as the LakeView jar. So I'll scroll up and I'll go to releases. Let's look at the latest stable release, and I'll download the LakeView release jar and the LakeView SyncTool release jar. And it's key that you have both of these. You'll need both of them in order to run the sync tool. Next, you'll upload those to S3. I'll just show the example in S3, but this works in Google Cloud as well. So I've got my jars folder and I've uploaded these here. I've got my LakeView release all and my LakeView sync tool. Okay, so now I'm going to actually add this into an existing EMR script that I'm running. So for EMR, the first thing you'll need to do is add the jars actually to the EMR cluster. So I've got this bootstrap cluster script that I ran when I set up my cluster. And this added those jars to the cluster itself, as well as some other jars that I was already using to run Hudi. So you'll see those here, and you'll want to make sure that you have those in your cluster bootstrap script, so you get them on your EMR cluster. And next, we'll look at a script that I already had. So this is without LakeView. This is a script that I was using just to ingest some data from an S3 table, and then write it to a Hudi table in S3 with the source being Parquet. And we've got a bunch of configurations here. So now I'll show you how easy it is to simply add the sync tool configurations, and then this job will actually sync the metadata to LakeView. So if we look at this here, we add this base path. So this is the table that we want to sync to LakeView. We'll reference that in S3. We've got our metasync class here, and I'm just using the plain LakeView SyncTool class. We reference the same here. We enable it, and we always use v1. That's what we have right now. Next, we have a few configurations that you'll get from the Onehouse console. That's project ID, API configs, and user ID. So in the LakeView console, I can click on the top right to grab my user ID and my project ID and paste those in. And then I can go here under settings to API settings and generate a new API token that I can use in the configurations there. Next, we'll set a timeout. So this can be useful because sometimes when you're bootstrapping a table's metadata, it can take some time and you don't want to delay your ingestion jobs. So you can set a timeout here, and this will just process the metadata incrementally. So on the next run, it'll pick up where it left off. Then we'll set our region. And this here, we're going to configure how it looks. So you're going to set the lake database and the base paths for the tables that you want to sync. So lake in the UI, is just a way for organizing how the tables appear. So you can see here, this is what a lake looks like, this is what a database looks like, and then you have your tables that are processed from the base paths under there. So you can actually put a list of base paths here for tables you want to sync, if it's easier if you're reusing configurations across jobs. But in each job run, it will only sync the metadata for a single table, and that's the one that you set in the base path up here. Okay, so now that we've done this, we viewed the code snippets, we got the jars on the cluster. The next step is to create the script. So we've got the script here, and all you got to do is upload that to S3. So I've got my scripts folder here, got Bootstrap cluster that I used when I started my cluster, and then this is the LakeView, the LakeView SyncTool Hudi counts. All right, so now if I go into EMR, I can add a step. And here we're going to do a Spark application, and we'll call this SyncTool demo. We'll grab this path, so our SyncTool Hudi counts. We'll copy the URI here and throw this in. And then we just need to use some Spark submit options. So here we can use our jars. I've got a recent one that I ran, so we can actually just look at what that one was. Get one of these. I'm just trying to go the right one here. All right, so I'll break this down. So we'll paste this in. We've got our jars. So this is the Hudi Slim bundle. This is what I was already using for the plain Hudi job without the sync tool. Got the Hudi Hive sync. This as well was already in there. And the two jars that I just added were the LakeView All jar and the LakeView SyncTool jar. And then with the packages, again, this was what I was using for the standard Hudi job. I had my Hudi Spark 3.5 bundle. All right, so we've got these, we've got the script. All you got to do is add the step, and EMR will run this. So this is great because if you have EMR steps or Spark jobs that you're already running to ingest into Hudi, you can simply add those configurations, and it will continuously sync the data to LakeView, so you're always getting fresh data in LakeView as your pipelines process your Hudi tables. So it's that simple.